So assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to learn list comprehensions and three more functions today. Then if we would have some time left, then we will do lambda functions. So let's get into it, but before that, like and subscribe. So uh, here is a program which takes out even numbers from a list of integers. let's let's make a file here. So if we want to get odd numbers from it or even numbers, we have and put it in the other list. So we have to make another list for it. Even numbers. Okay, even numbers. So we have made an empty list, and we would make a for loop, and we would iterate through this list and filter out each number one by one, which is an even number, and we would append and we would add it to the even numbers list using the append method. So we need a condition here: if n percentage 2 double equals to 0, so what I did here, I put a condition here which checks if so this is a modulus operator which gives us the remainder of the division between two numbers. So it will check if the number when divided by 2 returns a remainder that is equal to 0, then that means it is an even number, and we are appending it in the even numbers list. So after the loop, let's print the even number list. Okay, we have only three numbers here which are even: 32, 34 and 66. Okay, but list so today's topic is list comprehensions, and this allows us to write all of these statements in which we are making in which we are filtering out elements from a list, and putting or appending those filtered out elements into another list. uh, then we can use list comprehensions. So what is the syntax here? So uh, whatever we put in the condition, that comes at first. So we were appending n, so we just have to write n and the statement of the for loop for n in nums, like n where is percentage double equals to 0 in numbers. Okay, we have to print it. Okay, so we have to write the name of the variable, which is same as, so let's first of all let's write it. and yes, we are getting the same results. So let's go through it from the right to left. So we are checking whether the n which represents each element in each iteration of the for loop, and this condition checks that whether the element at the specific iteration of the for loop is divisible by 2. If yes, then that is added uh, to the list, and this one represents the element that would be added into the even numbers list. If this gives false, then uh, that will not be added. Okay, so this was list comprehensions, and also we can uh, make a tuple here and do many things like this. And there is an example here that we can add a tuple if a specific condition is met and there is an other condition uh, which will, okay, this is another condition. So this is the first if block. Okay, we are going through the numbers list, and num is representing each element, and we are checking in each iteration whether the number is even. If yes, we are adding this tuple into the result list. So uh, that tuple will have that number and the string even. And if the condition is false, then a tuple will be added with where the number uh, is the first element and the second element will be the string odd. Okay, I am checking whether can we put it here. Okay, in list comprehensions we have to put the format or the uh, elements or variables that we want to put it in our number string when a certain condition is met at the certain iteration of the for loop. So if we only have uh, one condition, which is if condition, so that comes at the end of the list comprehension, which is after the for loop. If we have two conditions, like if we have also an else block, then it comes, then all of these if and else condition comes before the for loop. That is what uh, we have been shown here, and you can see the difference here. Condition is at last when there is no if block. When there is an if block, both of the condition come before the for loop. So simple. Okay, so what it will do, it will check in each iteration of the for loop that whether the number is divisible by 2, meaning it whether it is even, then it will add into the string. So this represent that the number is being added to the list, and if the condition is false, then it will add an empty string. Okay, let's make this program here. Okay, we have to uh, make a tuple where the first element, like where the first element is number and the second element is either even or odd based on the number. So let's make a tuple. So each number is represented by n, so we are putting that, and num and even. So the body of the if and else clause comes before the if and else conditions. Okay, so when if a number is even, then we want to add a tuple where the number is written with even string, and in the else block we want to do the same, but we have to change the string to odd, and everything else remains the same. And yes, we are getting that. So 32 is even, 35 is odd, 34 is even, 83 is odd, and just like that. So we have successfully understood it very easily and made a program. And this was it for list comprehensions. Now we have three functions, which are filter, map, and sum. So let's first go through the sum function, which is very easy. Okay, what this sum function do, it adds all the elements of the list or any iterable, and then returns this total sum of the list of the iterable, and then we are showing that. So the total is 404. It is here, yes. Okay, we can also give it positional argument, like where we want to start the sum from. So if I want to start from the 2, which is the third position, so why it added 406. Okay, positional argument. So okay, it just um, sets the initial value for the summation. It does not start the sum from a specific value. So we add our default value to it, that it will sum up with the elements of the list. Okay, so it will come in handy whenever the sum of the iterable becomes negative, so we can adjust it using this initial value. So 35, and this is the same for the positional argument. This is the same argument as that of the start, but it is now called key argument, keyword argument. Okay, another function is the filter function. So we have to have a list of words. So we have a list of strings here. If I want to filter out specific numbers from this list, uh, whose length which have a length of 5 or less less characters, so I can do that, and I want to put it in a new list. So we have to make a list, another list. What can we name it? Small words. So we can use filter function. So it takes two argument. First is the function, and second is the uh, list or any iterable which we want to apply that function on. Okay, which we want to filter out using a specific condition. So the function provides a condition for the filter function to be applied on the second argument, which is another any iterable. In our case it will be word, and we have to have a function called is small word. So we have to define it. Let's define it after the string because it will use the string. So def so it will return the so it has to take the so we have to check each element of the word list. So we have to pass it to the function words word. So we will return a boolean value, and we are using the length function, and we are passing it the word. Okay, we have to pass it the whole okay, we also have to convert it into list using the list constructor. Okay, so only two elements have a length equal to 5 or less than 5. Okay, so let me explain this. So we have a function which takes uh, a variable which takes a value and checks that value that whether the value has a length less than or equal to 5, and then returns boolean value which is true or false, because this is a condition. Based on this condition it returns a boolean value, and then that boolean value is returned to that specific function, to the specific place where it is called. So in our case filter function handles it all by itself. So filter function requires two arguments. First is the function which returns, which provides a basis uh, for the condition which it will use to filter out the elements from the second argument, which is an iterable. In our case it is a string. It is a list of strings. Okay, it will call the small word function for each element and pass the element to the function one by one, and it will return, and this filter function will return that word uh, on the basis of the boolean value passed by the function. So if a small word function returns false value for a specific value in the words list, that uh, element will not be returned back by the filter function. Okay, but filter function does not explicitly returns a list or any specific data type, so we have to use the list constructor to convert those returned filtered values into list. Okay, and then we are getting it. Let's make a list which represents uh, numbers, which represents temperature in Celsius. So temp Celsius, and let's just assume that we have integer values. If I want to make a list where I am putting those values which are if I want to convert all of these temperatures into Fahrenheit from Celsius, I can use the map function. So how does it work? It takes two arguments. First is the function, and second is the second is the iterable on which we want to apply that function. So function change to let's define this here. It's just it has the structure as same as the filter function, but there are some differences here. Okay, let's represent each value that will be passed from this okay, let's just make it at first. Okay, yes, let me add 37. Okay, so list map function works mostly the same as the filter function. So we have two lists. So we have a list here in which we have the temperature in Celsius notation, And if you want to convert it into Fahrenheit, what we can use the map function, which takes two arguments. First is the function that will change each element of the second argument, which is any variable. In our case, it is the uh, temperature list in Celsius. So what it will do, map function will pass each value from the uh, 23 from the temp cell list to the change to Fahrenheit function. That is why we have a parameter here, and that function will do some calculation and return that value to the map function, which the map function will put into the temp uh, fh variable. But we are converting uh, that into a list. So this map function will work on 5 times to convert all of these elements into Fahrenheit, and and it will return 5 values, and list function will put or we say append all these values one by one. But what if I put int here? Only the last value will be returned to the only the last value will be found in the temp variable, which is 84.2. Why? Because the map function uh, returns values 5 times. So first time it will be returned, and that the int constructor will convert that value into integer, and then that will be stored in the temp variable, and this will repeat again. But uh, when that integer value will be stored in the temp fh variable, then the previous value will be updated to the new value. So we should only get 84.2. Okay, we cannot use this with the int. We can only use it with the list constructor or tuple or anything. Okay, we cannot use also it with the tuple because it is immutable. Now we can use it. Okay, but we cannot change it after that. Okay, I hope you understood everything. Let's do some question and wrap it up. This one is correct. Map function. So this sum takes the list, which is numbers, and we are using the initial value 10. So 5, 10, 15, 15, 15, 30, 30 and 20, 50, and 10, 60. We should get 60. Okay, so yeah, this is it for today. We will do lambda functions tomorrow. Then we have to do 2 labs. Then this chapter will also end. So yeah, this is it for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Till then, Allah Hafiz.